What should have been a serene drift through the clouds became a nightmare plummeting toward the earth. These are the deadliest hot air balloon disasters ever recorded, where peaceful morning flights turned into catastrophic tragedies that claimed dozens of lives. It was March 15, 2019, when Mario and Elena Rodriguez embarked on what they hoped would be a journey to rediscover their love for each other, high above the fairy tale landscape of Cappadocia, Turkey. Mario, a 34-year-old petroleum engineer from Houston, had spent the last 6 months drowning in 80-hour work weeks on a critical offshore drilling project. His calloused hands and tired eyes told the story of a man who had forgotten what it meant to truly live. Elena, 31, worked as a pediatric nurse at Texas Children's Hospital, where she had been pulling double shifts during the brutal flu season. The couple's once vibrant relationship had withered under the weight of exhaustion and endless arguments about whether they were ready to start a family. The Turkey trip was their Hail Mary, a desperate attempt to salvage what remained of their 7-year marriage. Mario, ever the engineer, had researched balloon companies online, but settled on a mid-tier operator that had recently expanded rapidly to meet tourist demand. Elena, always the cautious one, had voiced concerns about the 6 a.m. departure time, especially since they were both jet-lagged and had shared 2 bottles of Turkish wine the previous evening. That fateful morning, they joined 14 other passengers in a standard wicker basket, their pilot a young man with only 200 flight hours under his belt. As dawn broke over Cappadocia's otherworldly rock formations, the balloon lifted gracefully into the crisp morning air. For the first time in months, Mario and Elena felt a spark of the connection that had brought them together. But at 6:45 a.m., as they descended to 150 feet for a closer view of the valley, morning fog rolled in like a silent predator, reducing visibility to less than 100 meters. Hidden in the mist were newly installed high-voltage transmission lines that stretched across the valley like invisible death traps. The basket struck the power lines with devastating force. Electrical arcing illuminated the fog in brilliant, deadly flashes as the balloon's envelope immediately deflated. Mario instinctively gripped the metal rim of the basket, but the electrical current caused his muscles to contract violently, trapping his hands as thousands of volts coursed through his body, leaving severe burns across his arms and torso. Elena was thrown from the basket during the 80-foot plummet, her body striking the rocky terrain below. The impact caused a basilar skull fracture, and she lost consciousness instantly, never knowing that her husband was fighting for his life above her. Mario survived the fall but suffered internal bleeding from a ruptured spleen. As he lay in the twisted wreckage of the basket, his engineer's mind processed the cruel irony. The power lines had been installed just 6 months earlier, but aviation charts hadn't been updated to reflect the new hazard. He lost consciousness within 10 minutes, his life ebbing away as he thought of Elena and the family they would never have. Turkish emergency services arrived 45 minutes later, but it was too late. Both Mario and Elena had succumbed to their injuries, their final journey together ending not in reconciliation, but in tragedy. The investigation that followed revealed a cascade of failures: outdated navigation charts, inadequate pilot training, and insufficient safety protocols. The balloon company eventually implemented GPS mapping requirements and minimum visibility standards, but these changes came too late for the couple who had simply wanted to fall in love again among the clouds. Their story serves as a haunting reminder that sometimes our desperate attempts to fix what's broken can lead us into dangers we never saw coming. It was September 22, 2018, when the morning mist still clung to Napa Valley's rolling vineyards, that Bobby Chen and Jessica Walsh embarked on what should have been the most romantic day of their lives. Bobby, a 28-year-old software developer from Silicon Valley, possessed the methodical mind of a programmer, but the impulsive heart of a romantic. Standing 5'8" with wire-rimmed glasses, Bobby often made grand gestures without consultation. Jessica Walsh, 26, embodied creative spontaneity as a freelance graphic designer. Her auburn hair and green eyes reflected both artistic vision and underlying anxiety. Having recently relocated from Portland to San Francisco after 2 years of long-distance dating, she struggled with Bobby's controlling tendencies while appreciating his devotion. Her acrophobia made Bobby's surprise balloon proposal both touching and terrifying. The previous evening had erupted into familiar territory. Bobby announcing plans without seeking Jessica's input. She reluctantly agreed to the sunrise balloon ride, hoping to avoid another argument. Bobby had secretly coordinated champagne and roses with the balloon company, convinced romance would conquer Jessica's fear of heights. At 6:15 a.m., their private balloon lifted off with only the pilot accompanying them. The autumn vineyard stretched below like a patchwork quilt in burgundy and gold. Bobby clutched the engagement ring box while Jessica gripped the basket's edge, fighting vertigo. At 400 feet, serenity was shattered. A faulty propane regulator, inadequately maintained despite manufacturer's specifications, allowed unburned gas to accumulate within the balloon's envelope. The pilot, unaware of the invisible danger, attempted routine heating at 6:50 a.m. The accumulated propane ignited instantly, creating a devastating flash fire that consumed the envelope's fabric. Bobby instinctively shielded Jessica, suffering second-degree burns across his face and hands. Jessica inhaled the scorching gases, her respiratory system immediately compromised as consciousness slipped away within 60 seconds. The balloon plummeted toward the vineyard below. Bobby, despite his injuries, held Jessica's unconscious form as smoke filled their lungs. The crash came with merciful swiftness, but smoke inhalation had already claimed both lives before impact. Napa County Emergency Services arrived within 15 minutes. Paramedics found the couple together, Bobby's arms still wrapped protectively around Jessica, the unopened ring box scattered among crushed grapes. Investigation revealed the preventable tragedy. The balloon company immediately grounded its fleet, implementing comprehensive maintenance protocols. The faulty regulator became evidence in wrongful death lawsuits. Bobby's proposal plans died with him, the champagne and roses remaining unopened. Jessica never learned of his intentions, never saw the ring he had chosen after months of consideration. Their families found small comfort knowing they died together, their final moments spent in each other's arms above the valley they had come to celebrate their love. It was November 3rd, 2021, when three American college friends embarked on what should have been the adventure of a lifetime in Luxor, Egypt. Amanda Torres, a 22-year-old archaeology senior at UCLA, had meticulously planned this graduation celebration trip. Her infectious enthusiasm for ancient civilizations had drawn her two closest friends into sharing her dream of exploring Egypt together. As someone who spent countless hours researching pharaohs and pyramids, Amanda possessed an adventurous spirit that perfectly complemented her academic dedication. Michael O'Brien, 23, brought his mechanical engineering background to their group dynamic. Having recently completed his degree, the methodical young man had developed a fascination with ancient Egyptian construction techniques. His analytical nature often served as a counterbalance to Amanda's spontaneous energy, though he rarely voiced concerns that might dampen his friend's excitement. Priya Patel, the youngest at 21, had worked tirelessly at a campus coffee shop for 2 years, saving every spare dollar to afford this journey. An art history major with an eye for beauty, she approached their Egyptian adventure with quiet determination and genuine appreciation for the cultural significance of everything they encountered. The hot air balloon ride over the Valley of the Kings represented Amanda's absolute must-do experience. Michael had noticed concerning wear on the wicker basket during pre-flight inspection, observing frayed edges and questionable cable connections. However, not wanting to disappoint his friends, he kept his engineering concerns to himself. At exactly 6 a.m., their balloon lifted off with 10 other tourists aboard. The initial ascent provided breathtaking views of ancient temples, the meandering Nile River, and the golden desert landscape. Amanda pressed against the basket edge, camera in hand, while Priya sketched impressions in her travel journal. Michael quietly monitored the basket's behavior during their climb. At 600 feet, disaster struck without warning. Metal fatigue from repeated stress cycles caused catastrophic failure in the basket's support cables. At 6:35 a.m., one corner of the passenger compartment separated completely from the balloon envelope above. The basket tilted at a dangerous 30-degree angle, creating chaos among passengers. Amanda, positioned near the failed corner, fell through the widening gap between basket sections. She plummeted 400 feet, striking the rocky terrain below with fatal impact. Michael desperately grabbed onto the remaining structure, but could only maintain his grip for 30 seconds before gravitational forces overwhelmed him. His fall resulted in fatal injuries upon impact. Priya managed to hold on throughout the terrifying descent, surviving until the emergency landing. However, The high-speed impact of the tilted basket against the ground caused severe internal injuries that proved fatal, despite immediate medical attention. Egyptian emergency services reached the crash site within 1 hour using desert rescue vehicles. Investigation revealed the balloon operator had been using passenger baskets well beyond their recommended service life. Without proper structural inspections, the company had prioritized profit margins over passenger safety. The tragedy prompted immediate regulatory changes throughout Egypt's tourism industry. New requirements mandated annual structural certification for all passenger baskets used in commercial operations, ensuring future adventurers would not face the same preventable dangers. Amanda, Michael, and Priya had traveled thousands of miles to witness ancient wonders, only to become victims of modern negligence. Their story serves as a sobering reminder that adventure tourism requires rigorous safety standards to protect those seeking extraordinary experiences. It was January 12, 2020, when Thomas and Marie Dubois embarked on what should have been the highlight of their Myanmar honeymoon. Thomas, a 29-year-old civil engineer from Lyon, possessed the methodical precision that made him excellent at his job, but sometimes overly trusting of official recommendations. His new wife, Marie, 27, worked as a museum curator specializing in Southeast Asian art, her scholarly nature balanced by an adventurous spirit that had drawn Thomas to her during their university days. The couple had married just 3 weeks earlier in an intimate ceremony, choosing Myanmar for their honeymoon because Marie had spent years studying Bagan's magnificent Buddhist temples through photographs and academic papers. She yearned to experience firsthand the ancient structures she knew only from books. Thomas, ever the planner, had meticulously crafted their itinerary, booking the sunrise balloon flight through their hotel concierge, who enthusiastically recommended a local operator. During the pre-flight briefing, Marie's trained eye noticed the balloon equipment appeared older than expected. Her academic background had taught her to observe details others might miss, and something felt off about the frayed edges of the balloon's fabric. She voiced her concerns to Thomas, but he reassured her that Myanmar's tourism operators were properly regulated. His engineering mindset trusted official oversight systems, perhaps too much. At 5:45 a.m., their balloon lifted off with 8 other passengers, initially delivering the breathtaking experience they had anticipated. Below them stretched over 2,000 ancient pagodas scattered across the plains like forgotten jewels, their silhouettes emerging from morning mist, in a scene Marie had only imagined. For 20 precious minutes, they floated peacefully at 800 feet, Thomas capturing photos while Marie identified temple architectural styles she recognized from her studies. Then disaster struck. The balloon's envelope developed a small tear. The deteriorated fabric finally succumbed to stress. Marie watched with growing alarm as their altitude gradually decreased over the next 20 minutes. The pilot attempted an emergency landing at 6:30 a.m., targeting an open field, but misjudged their approach speed due to the balloon's compromised lift capacity. The basket struck the ground with devastating force, dragging 50 meters across uneven terrain before finally stopping. Thomas, who had instinctively shielded Marie during impact, suffered multiple rib fractures and severe internal bleeding. The methodical man who had planned every detail of their trip now fought for breath as his body went into shock. Marie was thrown from the basket during the violent dragging phase, her body striking the rocky ground with a crushing impact. The woman who had spent years studying ancient structures now lay motionless, her spine severely damaged, paralyzed from the chest down. Myanmar's emergency services, hampered by the remote location and basic equipment, took 90 minutes to reach them. Thomas, the careful engineer who had trusted the system, died within 30 minutes from internal bleeding, never seeing the temples Marie had dreamed of exploring together. Marie, the scholar who had finally seen her beloved pagodas from above, succumbed to complications 2 hours later, her dreams of walking among the ancient stones forever unfulfilled. The subsequent investigation revealed the balloon's envelope fabric had exceeded its recommended service life and lacked proper inspection. The tragedy that claimed 2 young lives led to increased oversight by Myanmar's tourism ministry and mandatory equipment inspections, ensuring future couples would not share the Dubois' fate while pursuing their dreams among Bagan's timeless temples. It was July 8, 2021, when the morning mist began to roll across the Loire Valley. setting the stage for a tragedy that would claim 2 lives and destroy a company's last hope for survival. Richard Sterling, 52, had built his reputation as a visionary CEO who believed in grand gestures and bold moves. Standing 6 feet tall with graying temples and an expensive suit that masked his company's dire financial situation, Richard possessed the kind of charismatic confidence that had once attracted millions in venture capital. However, his tech startup was hemorrhaging money, and his penchant for costly decisions had pushed the company to the brink of bankruptcy. Despite mounting pressure, Richard maintained his belief that projecting success was essential to securing the emergency funding they desperately needed. Jennifer Adams, 44, served as the company's chief financial officer and had become Richard's most vocal critic during their financial crisis. A meticulous woman with sharp features and an analytical mind, Jennifer had been working 16-hour days for months, desperately trying to keep the company afloat while Richard continued making expensive decisions. Her auburn hair was often pulled back in a tight bun, reflecting her no-nonsense approach to business. She had reluctantly joined this corporate retreat to France, viewing it as another wasteful expense they couldn't afford. The tension between them had reached a breaking point when Richard insisted on booking a private hot air balloon experience over the Loire Valley Chateau. Jennifer had objected vehemently, arguing that every dollar mattered when they were weeks away from bankruptcy. Richard dismissed her concerns, claiming the retreat was essential for demonstrating company stability to potential investors who might be watching their every move. Their private balloon launched at 7:30 that morning, carrying only the pilot, Richard and Jennifer above the picturesque valley dotted with medieval castles. Jennifer had planned to use this forced private time to convince Richard to consider selling the company before they lost everything. The morning started beautifully, with clear skies offering stunning views of the historic chateau below. At 400 feet altitude, morning fog began forming in the valley with alarming speed. Within 15 minutes, visibility dropped to less than 200 meters, transforming the scenic flight into a dangerous situation. The pilot, who lacked sufficient training for low visibility conditions, became disoriented in the thick fog at 8:15. Attempting to find a safe landing site, the pilot inadvertently descended toward a forested hillside. The balloon basket struck tree branches during an uncontrolled descent through the forest canopy. Richard suffered severe lacerations across his face and torso, along with a broken arm, as branches tore through the basket's sides. Jennifer was thrown from the basket when it caught on a large oak tree 30 feet above ground. She fell through the branches, suffering fatal head and neck injuries upon impact with the forest floor below. The basket remained suspended in the tree with Richard trapped inside, his injuries causing severe blood loss. For 2 agonizing hours, Richard remained conscious but unable to escape the suspended basket. His expensive suit became soaked with blood as he slowly succumbed to his injuries, dying before French emergency services could reach the remote crash site. French rescue teams located the wreckage using cell phone GPS data after the executives failed to return to their hotel. The investigation revealed that the pilot should have delayed the flight until the fog cleared, lacking proper certification for low visibility operations. The tragedy's aftermath proved devastating for the struggling tech startup. With both key executives dead, pending investor negotiations collapsed immediately. The company declared bankruptcy within weeks, as no potential buyers emerged willing to acquire a business that had lost its entire leadership team. Employees were left jobless, and investors lost millions, making the Loire Valley balloon crash not just a personal tragedy, but a corporate disaster that destroyed dozens of careers and dreams, along with 2 lives. It was June 12, 2018, when the morning sky over Cappadocia, Turkey, became the backdrop for a tragedy that would forever change hot air balloon tourism operations. Michael Chang, a 41-year-old professional travel photographer from San Francisco, had built his reputation capturing breathtaking landscapes worldwide. Known for his patient teaching style and infectious enthusiasm, Michael specialized in leading photography workshops to spectacular locations. His calm demeanor and technical expertise had earned him a loyal following among amateur photographers seeking to elevate their craft. Lisa Rodriguez, 33, worked as a graphic designer in Miami's bustling advertising district, but dreamed of becoming a professional photographer. After years of weekend shoots in the Everglades and Florida Keys, she had enrolled in Michael's Cappadocia workshop, hoping to transition careers. During their week exploring the region's otherworldly rock formations and ancient cave churches, Lisa had impressed Michael with her artistic eye and dedication to learning advanced techniques. The workshop group had spent 7 intensive days mastering golden hour lighting and composition, while photographing Cappadocia's unique geological features. Michael had saved the hot air balloon flight for their final morning, promising his 6 students an unparalleled opportunity to capture the landscape from 800 feet above the fairy chimneys and volcanic valleys. At 5:30 a.m., their balloon lifted off alongside over 100 other tourist balloons in Cappadocia's signature morning spectacle. The pre-dawn timing was crucial for optimal lighting conditions, but it created dangerous air traffic congestion that Turkish authorities struggled to manage during peak tourist season. As their balloon reached 800 feet, shifting wind patterns pushed the massive inflated envelopes closer together than safety protocols recommended. Michael was adjusting his camera settings to capture the sea of colorful balloons when he noticed their balloon drifting dangerously close to another tourist basket carrying 16 passengers. At exactly 6 a.m., the collision occurred with devastating force. The wind-driven impact caused both balloon envelopes to tear and lose critical lift capacity. Michael was struck by debris from the other balloon's wicker basket, suffering severe head trauma that rendered him unconscious immediately. The violent collision threw Lisa from their basket, sending her plummeting 600 feet toward the rocky terrain below. Emergency services, well practiced in responding to balloon incidents in the high-traffic tourist area, arrived within minutes of the crash. However, both photographers had already sustained fatal injuries beyond medical intervention. Michael died from head trauma during transport to the regional hospital, while Lisa died instantly upon impact with the volcanic rock formations she had spent the week learning to photograph. Investigation revealed critical gaps in air traffic management during peak tourist season. With over 100 balloons launching simultaneously each morning, existing separation protocols proved inadequate for preventing dangerous mid-air encounters. The tragedy exposed how commercial pressure to maximize tourist flights had compromised safety margins. Turkish aviation authorities responded by implementing comprehensive air traffic management systems specifically designed for mass balloon operations. New protocols established mandatory separation distances, reduced simultaneous launches, and created designated flight corridors to prevent future collisions. Michael's photography equipment, recovered from the crash site, contained his final images of the Cappadocia sunrise that had drawn him to this remarkable landscape. Lisa's camera held her last shots of the balloon-filled sky she had dreamed of capturing professionally. The Cappadocia tourist collision became a watershed moment for balloon safety worldwide, leading to stricter oversight of commercial flight activities in scenic destinations where photography tourism intersects with adventure travel. These tragic incidents prove that even peaceful adventures can turn deadly in an instant. Click the next video for more shocking stories of unexpected danger.